I did want to just, I'm about to introduce Bev Haberle from ProAct, and I just want to reiterate, we're very excited to be doing this pre-walk event tonight, and thank you again for those of you who have come in. I forgot to mention, for those of you who have not been to the school before and would like a tour, after we're finished here, just meet me by the door and take you upstairs and show you our space. With that, I'm going to ask Bev to come on up and talk about ProAct and introduce a couple of other people who will be speaking this evening. Thanks.
Good evening. I'm Bev Haberle, and I'm a person in long-term recovery. That means I haven't used alcohol or any other drugs for the past 43 years. I was a young person in recovery, except it wasn't looked at the way it is now. It was like you couldn't possibly have this problem. But as I was thinking about it, coming here tonight, I thought, okay, I've got to say a few things about ProAct, and all of a sudden it hit me, this is our 15th anniversary. And if I think about what has occurred over the past 15 years and the journey that, one, my recovery has allowed, but also just what has happened in this field over the past 15 years. And ProAct came around, was developed because people were pretty mad. And we were pretty angry that people weren't getting the kinds of services they deserved. And they were losing a lot of rights that, that we had sort of taken for granted for a while, because we had sort of a hiatus of recovery, and then all of a sudden started losing a lot of things. And so the Council of Southeast Pennsylvania, which is an affiliate of the National Council, which always does a lot of community development. Those of you who've seen the Anonymous People, you would have seen Marty Mann's information. Well, my roots are part of that organization, and the organization in Southeast Pennsylvania that serves Southeast Pennsylvania is called the Council of Southeast Pennsylvania. However, one of the things that a small group of people who were angry and wanted to make some changes gathered together, and actually the first thing they did was write a grant, and we wrote a grant to SAMHSA. And the grant was to mobilize the recovery community. And we thought, oh, that'll be a piece of cake, because there's 5 of us together. And it really wasn't a piece of cake. And we talk about this being pioneering work, and it really was. And sometimes I think we wandered around the desert for a while. And I think, then we sort of went a little bit further and maybe into the homesteading kind of process. And I think now we're in the promised land. And I think that there is still a huge amount of work to do, but the recovery community has come together. Our first walk had 100 people, and we celebrated. We thought 100 people, that's incredible. And now, tomorrow, we hope to have many more than 20,000 that were out last year. Who would have ever thought? I would have never thought 15 years ago that I would be standing in a recovery high school. I mean, that was just really totally off our radar. And I really have the privilege of being on the board of Faces and Voices of Recovery, which is a national organization that really does a lot of mobilizing organizations like ProAct across the country, and expands that advocacy even further. So it is very exciting to be here tonight. I want to thank all of you who have been instrumental in helping us get to where we are. Roland certainly was our partner in crime. He mentioned that Philadelphia is looked at as, such a national leader, but it's because of people like Roland that happened. And, I always tell the story that, we had an opportunity to meet with Dr. Arthur Evans when he first came to town, and Fred Martin and I, and Fred, stand up, who's our Philadelphia ProAct we're in the meeting, and he said, here's my vision, and here's what I want to happen. And he said, and I want you to partner with us as we do this. And we thought, okay, good, that sounds good. And Fred and I got out to the elevator and we said, is this guy for real? I mean, because that was so unheard of. We used to have to fight for meetings with public officials. And, you know, and for somebody to invite us in and then tell us his vision of how the recovery community, you know, was going to be helpful in dramatically transforming what recovery looked like in the city of Philadelphia, it was like, oh my goodness, and we really did say, is he for real? And then we learned indeed not only was he for real, but a lot of other people were for real too. And you know, I am incredibly proud when I go anywhere else, they say, you're from Philadelphia? And I say, well, sort of outside of Philadelphia, but yes, I do a lot of work in Philadelphia. So over the years, you know, PROACT has been able to help develop recovery community centers. We're very proud of the center that we've partnered with the city on. And, you know, see 2,500 people a month looking for support for their recovery, looking for opportunities to really access and sustain long-term recovery. You know, people are coming, and it is just such a different time now. And I am just so proud of, you know, where this whole field has come, but also all of the work that has gone into helping Philadelphia become really the beacon, if you will, for recovery, for a way transformation can really change the lives and community and families that we live with, or that we all care about. I also have a great pleasure tonight in introducing Yvette Torres. And I absolutely, here's something, I was at the White House on Wednesday. Can you believe it? You know, and we were, you know, and one of the things that happened at the White House in celebrating National Recovery Month was an honor to Yvette for really spearheading 25 years. So they were a little further ahead, had been doing some trench work ahead of time, you know, and the grant that we were able to get that really helped move us along. I think there were lots of people behind the scenes that really wanted to see that this kind of work happen. So it is my real pleasure to introduce to you all, to say a few words, Yvette Torres.